Hello and welcome to Sew Crafty with Connie. Today I'd like to show you how to make these easy snuggle sacks. They can be used at rescues for rabbits, guinea pigs, all sorts of little animals, and it helps them have something comfy and soft to lay in if they're being recovered from whatever they may have. And it's also good for your own animals. So if you like this video, please give me a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And so let's go ahead and get started. I have already gotten my fabric pieces cut out. I'm doing the large size, 18 by 22. So I've got my cotton fabric here and I've got them right sides together. I'm going to go ahead and cut the bottoms out, the 4-inch bottoms, and so I have got them on top of each other, right sides, and I have folded them over so I could cut them out, both sides out at once. And so I'm just using a ruler, and I have measured 4 inches on top and bottom, and I'm just cutting that out like that, and then just set those aside. You can use those for other projects if you want. And so I've got my cotton pieces cut out, the squares on the bottom. Now I'm going to set that aside and do my fleece piece. This is also 18 by 22, and you want to make sure that it is going the right way. So, one side is shorter than the other. So you want to make sure that you are cutting them the right way. So I need to turn mine over and cut out the bottom part. Okay, so now that's correct. So I'm going to fold this over, the fleece over, and it's a solid, so it doesn't matter with the right sides together. And I'm going to measure 4 inches and cut that out as well. I'm using scissors because the rotary cutter, it's too thick for my rotary cutter. And so I'm doing the 18 wide or the 22 wide by 18 inches tall, and you could flip it and do the other way if you wanted and have it 22 inches wide and 18 inches tall. So I've got both pieces cut out. Now I'm going to take it to the sewing machine and I'm going to sew a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance on the sides and the bottoms. Now I'm ready to sew the 1/4 of an inch seam allowance on each sides and the bottom for each piece, the cotton and the fleece fabric. Okay, now that I've got that done, I'm going to sew my corners together to make the box shape at the bottom. So you're going to take your seams of those 4-inch squares that you cut out and you're going to match them together, right sides together, and you're going to start and then back stitch and then sew over the seam, and then you're going to sew all the way to the end, and then you're going to back stitch right there at the end. Now, to alleviate some of the bulkiness, you can either trim your seams as close as you can to the 1/4 of an inch seam allowance that you just sewed, or just open up the seam like I'm doing. And then it's important to back stitch the beginning and end, and for more security. And then you're going to do that on both pieces. You're going to do that on the fleece piece and the cotton piece. Once you get your corners sewn together and you make the box shape, you want to turn one to where they are going to be right sides together. So you are going to put one inside the other, making sure the right sides are together, and you're going to match up the seams on one side and pin it in place. And then you're going to match up the seams on the other side and pin it in place. And then you're going to kind of match up your edges. You can pin those in place if you want, but I don't do that just to kind of save time. And then you're going to sew a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance all around the top of the sack, making sure that your edges are matched up, evened up. If you haven't pinned it as you sew, you just kind of turn it and make sure your edges are matched up as you sew, and you can just kind of pull the fabric if you need to. Now you're going to leave about a 3-inch opening so you can turn it right side out. So I'm going to take my pins out and I have my opening, and now I'm going to flip it right side out. And once you get that done, you're going to, they want the soft side on the inside. So you're going to push the fleece inside the cotton fabric, and you're going to kind of fold the edges down at the top to where the seam is. Kind of fold it over and where you have your seam, and you can see the fleece and the cotton on both sides. And you're going to sew around the top 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. This is going to help, this will close the opening, and you're going to sew all the way around the top using a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. And then once you get through with that, you're going to go down a 1/4 of an inch from that seam that you just sewed, and sew again a 1/4 of an inch from the seam that you just sewed all the way around. So your first stitch around the top is going to be a 1/4 of an inch from the top, which is going to close the opening, and then you're going to go down a 1/2 of an inch from the top, or a 1/4 of an inch from the seam that you just sewed, and then sew all the way around again. So it's going to have 2 stitches around the top. Okay, I'm done with that. And now I'm just going to kind of clean it up and cut off my loose threads. And after you get done with that, you are finished. And I'm just going to kind of shape it a little more and just kind of make sure that your corners, your bottom box is kind of pushed out and it's kind of shaped nicely, and the corners are all pushed in and out, and kind of make the box look kind of neat. And then you fold the top over a couple of times. I think that's how they're going to do it, and then that's where the little animal is going to be laying in. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like this video, and I hope it helps you. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me, FlemingConnieG@gmail.com. Thank you so much for watching.